Hi, today's mini lecture will cover cognitive development during the school years. So we'll talk about Jean Piaget's theory and also Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development. So cognitive development between the ages of 7 and 11 is impressive. Children improve in control processes, in their processing speed, in their memory capacity, and they are growing a foundation of knowledge. First, let's talk about Piaget's understanding. According to Piaget, school-aged children are much better than preschoolers to understand logic, as long as logical principles are applied to concrete examples or direct experiences. Thus, the name that Piaget gave to this stage is called concrete operational thought. And the hallmark of this stage is logic. The first principle of concrete operational thought is that children have the ability to use mental categories. They are now able to classify objects into categories according to a common property. So classification is the logical principle that things can be organized into groups, categories, or classes according to some common characteristic that they have in common. For example, mammals are classified together by the fact that they have body hair and that females nurse their young. The second significant logical principle that school-age children understand is called identity. And this is the principle that certain characteristics of an object remain the same even if other characteristics change. For example, if you set out 5 quarters in a line very close together, and then you spread the coins out in a line so they're further apart, the school-age child will know that there's still the same number of quarters even though one line appears longer than the other. In contrast, children in the play years erroneously say that the longer line has more quarters. The third principle of concrete operational thought is reversibility. Here, children understand that a thing that has been changed can be returned to its original state by reversing the process by which it was changed. For example, we see the concept of reversibility applied in school-age children's math curriculum. So children are taught the inverse operations for mathematical procedures. Subtraction reverses addition, for example, and division reverses multiplication and vice versa. So here we see the application of reversibility in school curriculum. Another significant accomplishment at this stage relates to control processes of mental functioning. Here, children are able to use 3 important mechanisms which are instrumental in growing their knowledge base. First, children are more able to use selective attention in order to tune out distracting activity so that they can focus on reading while in school, for example. Second, children have now developed emotional regulations so that they have control over their emotional lives. And finally, children are able to use metacognition to regulate the flow and the analysis of information that they are processing. Metacognition is defined as thinking about thinking. This is the ability to evaluate a task to determine how best to accomplish it, and then to monitor and adjust one's performance on the task. For example, if a child is playing a tennis match and notices that his opponent never comes to the net, he'll begin to hit the balls just over the net in order to beat his opponent. Or, as another example, a child may be completing a multiplication problem and arrived at the wrong answer. So a child's going to use metacognition to trace their steps and would realize that they forgot to carry or to regroup while doing the multiplication. So now that we've talked about Piaget's third stage, called concrete operational thought, This is a good time to introduce Lawrence Kohlberg's stage theory of moral development.